The forest does not grow in a day, yet people walk through it and believe the trees appeared overnight. I have always found that curious, because the most valuable things in the world rarely reveal the time it took to build them. A tall oak hides the decades it spent as a quiet seed beneath the soil. A river hides the centuries it needed to carve its path through stone. Wealth behaves the same way. What people see is the result. What they do not see is the waiting. For most of my life, I have watched people search for speed in a game that rewards patience. They chase quick profit, sudden recognition, rapid applause. They move quickly because stillness makes them uncomfortable. But value does not respond to noise. Value responds to time. The market, like nature, has a way of exposing impatience. It rewards the calm observer and quietly punishes the restless participant. I learned that lesson slowly. In the early years, I believed intelligence was the advantage. I believed if one studied harder, calculated faster, and analyzed deeper, the outcome would naturally follow. But experience introduces a different reality. The advantage is not brilliance. The advantage is temperament. The ability to remain steady when the world becomes emotional. The ability to remain silent when others rush to speak. The ability to wait while others exhaust themselves chasing movement. Waiting is a strange discipline. Most people feel anxious when nothing appears to be happening. They want activity. They want confirmation that progress exists. They want to feel momentum. But the greatest opportunities often arrive disguised as inactivity. Some of the best decisions I ever made looked from the outside like nothing at all. Quiet observation, months of reading, years of waiting. Then a simple action that appeared insignificant to everyone else. And yet that small action, taken at the right moment, quietly reshaped the future. Wealth is rarely built through dramatic gestures. It is built through restrained ones. Over time, I began noticing something darker about human nature. Success does not simply attract admiration. It attracts comparison. And comparison quietly awakens envy. Envy is rarely loud. It does not always appear as hostility. Sometimes it arrives disguised as curiosity. Sometimes as encouragement. Sometimes even as friendship. But when people begin measuring themselves against you, something subtle changes inside them. Human beings struggle to watch others rise too quickly. You see it in families, you see it in business, you see it in entire communities. A person who grows quietly is often accepted. A person who grows visibly becomes a mirror. And mirrors make people uncomfortable. I have seen promising partnerships collapse because success became too visible too early. I have seen individuals destroy their own momentum by revealing more than they should have. The moment the world begins watching closely, pressure enters the room. Pressure changes behavior. Understanding this changed the way I approached wealth entirely. Over time, I developed a quiet philosophy that guided nearly every decision I made. I call it the shadow discipline. It is not a complex system. It is simply a way of moving through the world without inviting unnecessary resistance. The shadow discipline rests on a simple observation. Value compounds best in darkness. Seeds grow underground long before anyone notices the forest forming. The most powerful roots develop where no one can see them. Exposure interrupts that process. And so I learned to protect the soil. One of the earliest habits I adopted was refusing to reveal my exact wealth. People assume numbers are harmless facts, but numbers carry power. The moment a precise number becomes attached to your identity, people begin reacting not to you, but to that number. Expectations begin forming, requests begin arriving, comparisons begin spreading. I once observed a businessman reveal the size of his fortune during a period of celebration. It was not arrogance, it was excitement. But within months, something changed around him. Friends behaved differently. Competitors became more attentive. Strangers appeared with ideas that always seemed to benefit them more than him. Nothing about his character had changed, only the number. Numbers alter gravity. The more precisely people can measure you, the more easily they can position themselves around you. A forest does not reveal the depth of its roots. If it did, every axe in the valley would know exactly where to strike. Silence protects strength. Another habit followed naturally from that principle. I never announced my next move. Prediction is seductive. It creates attention long before results exist. When people declare their plans publicly, they receive recognition for intentions rather than outcomes. But intention is fragile. The moment an idea becomes visible, interference begins. Competitors react, advisors appear, opinions multiply, doubt spreads. Even well-meaning voices can weaken a strong idea if they arrive too early. I prefer to let results appear without warning. Years ago, I became interested in a company that very few investors considered exciting. Its reputation was dull. Nothing about it attracted headlines. But beneath the surface, the business was quietly improving. Had I spoken about it openly, attention would have followed. The price would have changed before the opportunity matured. Instead, I said nothing. I watched. I waited. Months passed, then years. While attention chased louder stories, I quietly accumulated my position. Eventually, the world noticed what had always been there. By that time, the advantage had already been captured. Quiet movement protects opportunity. The same logic applies to knowledge. Information is leverage, but leverage disappears the moment it becomes widely shared. People love recognition for insight. They want the world to know they discovered something early. They want credit, but credit is expensive. A fisherman who reveals the exact location of his best waters will soon find the shoreline crowded. The fish disappear. The advantage vanishes. I learned to protect insight carefully, not out of secrecy for its own sake, but because value thrives when fewer people compete for it. There is another subject where discipline matters deeply, though few speak about it honestly. Inheritance. Many parents believe the greatest gift they can offer their children is permanent financial security. The intention is generous, but I have watched the outcome many times. Security without effort often produces weakness. When a young person grows up knowing that wealth will arrive regardless of their actions, something essential fades. Curiosity weakens. Drive softens. The instinct to solve difficult problems disappears. Nature does not reward creatures that never encounter resistance. A tree protected from every storm grows shallow roots. When the first real wind arrives, the result is predictable. I never wanted wealth to become a quiet poison inside my own family. Support matters, opportunity matters, but certainty can quietly destroy ambition. The ability to build something is far more valuable than the ability to inherit it. A person who learns how to create value never fears losing it. A person who inherits value without understanding it may spend their life guarding something fragile. There is one more habit that shaped my life more than people realize. I never broadcast charity, nor success, nor personal struggle. The world has a complicated relationship with visible emotion. Success attracts applause on the surface but comparison beneath it. Charity attracts praise but also suspicion. Struggle attracts sympathy but also quiet measurement. People interpret what they see according to their own stories, and those interpretations are rarely accurate. Privacy protects clarity. A generous act performed quietly remains pure. A victory enjoyed privately remains peaceful. A hardship endured without announcement strengthens character rather than becoming spectacle. I once watched a businessman donate a large amount of money publicly to a well-known cause. For a few weeks, he was celebrated. But then something interesting happened. Requests began arriving, more charities, more expectations, more obligations. His generosity had become a signal, and the world responded accordingly. Eventually, the attention surrounding his giving became heavier than the giving itself. Quiet generosity avoids that trap. When kindness happens without announcement, it remains free from performance. The loudest individuals often spend enormous energy managing perception. The quiet ones invest their energy in building substance. Time eventually reveals which approach endures. Nature offers the perfect metaphor. In the forest, the most powerful predators move silently. Their strength does not require announcement. The ecosystem remains calm because the most capable creatures do not advertise their presence. Wealth works the same way. The most effective strategies rarely attract attention while they are unfolding. Another advantage grows naturally from this quiet posture. Underestimation. Being underestimated is one of the most powerful strategic positions in the world. When others believe you are less capable than you truly are, they relax their defenses. They speak freely. They reveal intentions. Expectations shape preparation. When people expect little from you, they prepare little. I have entered negotiations where silence was mistaken for uncertainty. The other side spoke more than necessary. They explained their priorities. They exposed their assumptions. And every word created clarity. Silence allows people to reveal themselves. Observation creates advantage. Over the years, I realized something that changed how I measured success. The true edge in investing is not superior intelligence. It is emotional discipline, the ability to ignore applause, the ability to ignore panic, the ability to ignore the temptation to prove something to the world. Markets reward calm minds. Human beings, however, struggle to remain calm when attention surrounds them. Attention creates pressure. Pressure invites mistakes, which is why the quiet path remains so powerful. When your work happens largely out of sight, you gain the freedom to think clearly. You can make mistakes without embarrassment. You can adjust your thinking without public explanation. You can allow time to perform its quiet miracle, and time is the greatest ally of long-term value. Compounding rarely announces itself. At first it looks small, almost invisible. A careful decision here, a patient investment there. Years pass, then decades. Eventually the outcome becomes obvious, and people assume brilliance created it. But brilliance rarely built it. Discipline built it. Patience built it. Silence protected it. The longer I lived, the more I understood a simple truth. Value grows like a forest, quietly, gradually, roots first, branches later. The world admires the branches, but the roots carry the weight, and roots develop in darkness. Looking back across the decades, the greatest advantages I ever possessed were not dramatic. They were quiet habits, refusing to reveal too much, refusing to rush, refusing to seek validation. Those habits created the conditions where value could grow undisturbed. In the end, long-term value wins for the same reason forests outlast storms. They grow slowly enough to survive them. And the people who understand this learn a simple way to move through the world: speak less, show less, wait longer than others are willing to wait. Because loud fortunes burn quickly, but the quiet ones, they keep growing long after the noise disappears.